Evan Washburn's training camp tour continues. This man has been all over the place right now with the Kansas City Chiefs. We all saw what happened last season with the Chiefs. Evan, just a positive person. He's been floating around this country, dealing with travel delays, but looking ready as ever to have a conversation with us about what's going down with these Chiefs. Now, after that tough Super Bowl loss to the Eagles, how have you seen the Chiefs kind of respond to this offseason? What's the mindset? What's the tone out there, Ev?
Jenny, they're chasing greatness. And yes, that Super Bowl loss, I think, is something that motivated this group throughout the offseason. Talking to Patrick Mahomes after practice, he looks like he's in incredible shape. He mentioned that when you don't have that victory tour, there's more time to be spent in that dark place in the gym just grinding and getting after it. And today was I don't want to call it a walkthrough. It was definitely a full-speed workout. They weren't in full pads, but it was a great opportunity to see where Mahomes and this offense are. Obviously, Andy Reid running the show, calling the plays, and it looked like old school Mahomes where they were chucking the ball downfield pretty much every play. So this is a group I think primed and ready. They're in a unique position with their roster makeup, a lot of youth in big spots, but they want to put that Super Bowl behind them and chase another one.
I'm sure they're ready to put that Super Bowl behind them, but we are not ready to do that quite yet because that's what we do in sports. Now, when you look at that loss, it was clear that that O-line was really one of the major issues, especially left tackle. They struggled out there. What have you seen up front? Is Josh Simmons the answer? It seems like everything's pointing to that.
It's a great point. They had a situation where Mahomes was sacked 6 times in that game, 36 sacks over the course of the season. That's a career high for Mahomes. And left tackle was probably the biggest issue. Remember, they had to move Joe Tooney, the guard, over to tackle. He's now in Chicago. And yes, Josh Simmons is the hopeful replacement there. And to really solidify that position, they haven't had lockdown for a couple years now. He's the rookie out of Ohio State. As you know, covering him last year, he suffered that torn patella tendon injury a few games into the season, so he missed a lot of time, and there was concern, could he be ready here in year one, in week one? That hasn't been determined yet, Jenny, but just talking to folks around this team and getting a sense in one practice that's the way it's trending right now. But they have Jalen Moore, who they brought over. He was Trent Williams' backup in San Francisco, so if for some reason Simmons isn't ready, he would most likely step into that left tackle position. But they know right now that has to be better. The protection has to be better for everything they want to do this season offensively.
That left side looking different this year. Hopefully some better outcomes when it comes to Mahomes, his health, getting sacked. Now, when you think about the Achilles heel of this team the past few years, so yeah, we just talked about left tackle when it came to the Super Bowl. It's always been the receiver unit. And in terms of health, really, what are you hearing about that group?
Yeah, it's funny. I mean, I guess it's not really funny, but you say health. They feel like coming into this training camp and this season, that wide receiver core is deep, and they feel great about it. And whether that's Rashee Rice, I would say, being the top among that list. You also obviously include the tight ends as well, Noah Gray and Travis Kelce. Hollywood Brown missed last year with the collarbone injury. Sky Moore, they drafted a really talented player out of Utah State, but yesterday, 3 of those guys went down with injuries. For Hollywood Brown, it was an ankle. For Sky Moore, a hamstring. Xavier Worthy, should have mentioned him, the speedster out of Texas. He's in concussion protocol. Now, none of these are long-term concerns, but it's just a reminder of how fragile this can be. You can feel great about a position group on Monday, then you have a Tuesday practice, and you lose 3 of the guys. And then it should be noted that Rashee Rice, that suspension or expected suspension has not come down yet, but there is some planning, if you will, for him not being available for some portion of this season. So I think when healthy and available, they feel great about it because it's deep and they can attack in a bunch of different ways. But right now, they're banged up.
When healthy and available, always a good thing, but as you just mentioned, it can all just change like that. Now, the Chiefs, they are heading into the 2025 season with one of the youngest defenses in the NFL. How is that youth showing up? Do the coaches seem confident?
I think they're confident because they have Steve Spagnuolo, who is as good a defensive coordinator as this league has seen really ever, especially the last few years. I mean, as much as Patrick Mahomes has and deserves the credit for the last 2 Super Bowl wins. The defense, in a lot of ways, got them to those games and helped win them those games. But you mentioned the youth, and I would say the key area to keep an eye on would be the safety position. Jaden Hicks, the second-year safety, steps in for Justin Reed, who moved on in free agency, and that's a big-time position. And that back end is still very young. They have a lot of talented players. Trent McDuffie, top among that list. But outside of Chris Jones and Nick Bolton, Drew Tranquill, the linebacker, Karlaftis off the edge, those are the known commodities, if you will, Jenny. But there's a lot of youth in that secondary. And, you know, when you're going up against the likes of whether it's Josh Allen in Buffalo, Burrow, Lamar, the top end, C.J. Stroud of the AFC, you know you have to be able to defend the pass.
A lot of pressure when it comes to those young guys stepping up. Evan Washburn, always cool under pressure. We appreciate you. We know you have much more to come over the next few days, next few weeks here on CBS. As you mentioned yesterday, the NFL season, it starts right now. It certainly does, but the countdown is on until Sundays. It returns September 7th. That's the first week of the NFL regular season. We're going to have all the action on CBS and streaming on Paramount+.